Most website projects take way longer than they should. And this ends up costing your company more money in terms of wasted team hours, delayed marketing campaigns, and of course, lost sales opportunities. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my proven 3-month timeline that will help you get your website designed, developed, and launched in 3 months or less so that you can start generating a return on investment as soon as possible. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Bailey Canning. I'm an independent full-stack marketing strategist working with my clients on brand strategy engagements, web design and development projects, and ongoing market retainers. As part of my work, I regularly post videos here on YouTube giving you a behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to run a modern marketing consultancy and breaking down various topics related to my client work. If any of that sounds interesting to you, would love for you to hit the subscribe button and introduce yourself in the comments. Let's get right into it and first talk about why the timeline is so important. Quite simply, if you are taking longer than 3 months to design and develop your company's website, I'm here to tell you that quite frankly, you are doing your company and everyone who works for it a massive disservice. The reason why the timeline matters when it comes to building the website is that this is not some sort of esoteric art project, but rather it is a concrete, analytical business project at the end of the day. And what I always tell my clients here is that this new website is not going to be able to do anything for your company in terms of generating leads, growing its brand awareness, adding a much more polished professional image to your brand. None of the objectives that a great website should be able to accomplish are going to be possible while it's in the design and development phase. It's not until you go live with the new website is it actually going to be able to generate business and sales results for your company. That is why I'm always adamant with my clients when we're first taking on a new project that our goal needs to be to get the website live in about 3 months, anywhere between 60 to 90 days, or 1/4 of business. And to me, this is the exact sweet spot because it gives you enough time to put all the attention, effort, and energy the website is going to need to be effective digital marketing and sales tool for your business. And 3 months is plenty of time to ensure that we're not cutting corners and we're exploring various marketing and design possibilities, while at the same time, we're not unnecessarily dragging our feet because like I said at the start of the video, the website needs to generate results in the form of leads and sales for your company. And it cannot do that during the design or development process. Now, of course, sometimes the project will go over 3 months, but it's important to aim for the 3-month timeline because say you aim for 3 months, but you fail by 1 month, then you got the website launched in 4 months. It's not the end of the world, but we don't want to get in a situation where a year goes by and the website still isn't live. Believe it or not, I have had many of those experiences working both for myself as an independent strategist, as well as for several agencies in the past. And that's another reason why I wanted to make this video, because it's really not uncommon for these website projects to take 9 to 12 months. But really, for it to be effective, it needs to be done in 3-4 months tops. Now, let's talk about some of the key phases of the project. These are the phases that are going to be key in determining how long the website project should take. And then once I get done detailing these phases, I'm going to give you a quick ballpark timeline that you should expect for each one. Step number 1 is going to be the project kickoff/onboarding. So the way I do this is that I will get my client's project set up in my project management tool of choice called Basecamp. This allows us to stay organized, and I will also record a quick screen tutorial going over how to use Basecamp and how everything is organized so that the client is easily able to get up to speed. That then brings us to the first official phase of the project, and that is going to be the research and strategy phase. This is where I'm doing more research on my client's business, their industry, their competition, and based on all my learnings and insights, I'm also interviewing the client to learn more directly from them. Based on all this information, this is when I will begin to put together the core messaging framework, our marketing communication angle, building out the sitemap, outlining the client avatars, things of that nature. Then typically I will present the proposed strategy to the client. Once they approve the strategy, we move into the design phase, or what I always tell my clients is the most fun part of the entire project. This is where we actually get to be artistic and creative. This will always start with the UX design phase where you're getting high-level blueprints, designs of the website. Then I will also start copywriting, so I handle all of the copywriting for my clients. And then once we have the content and the layout structure and the copy all approved, I move forward with the UI design or the user interface design of the website, which allows my client to preview the proposed designs, leave their feedback, and then we will revise the designs until they're approved and we're ready to begin developing the designs onto the web. Whereas the design phase is very collaborative, and in order to move the project timeline along, we need quick client feedback. The development phase is pretty different, honestly, whereas it's really just on me and whoever I might be hiring to finish developing the website. And then of course we will bring in the client towards the end so we can get their final round of feedback, make any edits from there. As soon as development starts, I always send my client a live URL staging link of the in-progress website. And that way, even though I try to check in 2 or 3 times a week with an update, they're able to open it up anytime and see the progress. So it's a very transparent development process. Finally, there's going to be a very thorough quality assurance and review phase to ensure that the website is ready to go live when we flip the switch. Once the website is live, there's a quick offboarding phase where essentially I give my clients all the resources and tools they're going to need to manage the website effectively. I also provide them with information on how we can continue working together, whether for basic website maintenance or a full marketing campaign. That is the project process. Obviously, there's a lot more detail and items that go into each phase, but that sets the stage to tell you how long each phase of the project should take. In my experience, it should take about 2 weeks to do the strategy phase of the project. That includes onboarding. Then I think it's smart to budget 3 to 4 weeks for design and another 3 to 4 weeks for development and QA testing before you can go live with the website. And that puts you in a sweet spot of being able to launch between 60 and 90 days. All right, real quick, if you're watching this video and you're like, man, we need to build a new website for our company and ideally we would like to get it done under 3 months following this process, then I invite you to schedule a complimentary strategy call with yours truly. And this is not going to be some sort of sales presentation. Nothing puts me to sleep faster than getting on a call with a vendor or consultant and me having to sit through walking through a PowerPoint presentation. Rather, it is simply going to be a one-to-one call where the two of us are going to get to know each other. I will ask you questions about your business, your marketing goals, your main sales challenges, and based on everything you tell me, I will help you outline a branding, website, and ongoing digital marketing roadmap so that your company can generate more leads, grow its brand awareness, and obviously increase revenue so that you can achieve all the company goals you've set out for. If that sounds interesting to you, there's a link in the description where you can learn more. I invite you to schedule the consultation, and if you do book one, I look forward to meeting with you very soon. All right, now with the obligatory self-promotion out of the way, let's get back into the video. So now I want to talk about some common pitfalls that often lead to getting projects delayed. This way you have a heads up and you know what to look out for should you find yourself in this situation. The most common delay tactic I see is adding new pages or features and deliverables midway through the project as the project is already underway. This is known as scope creep, and this is why I recommend to all my fellow Webflow developers, designers, to always, when you send over a proposal, include a detailed, broken out list of all the pages you are responsible for developing, as well as all the features and advanced functionality that's going to be in the website. I always include a table on the proposal and listed this out on the contract as well. This way, there is no confusion. If the client wants to add things in the middle of the build, I could do it to accommodate the timeline, but we'll probably need to bill hourly. If it's ultimately not that important, then they'll just choose to scrap it and focus it on a later time. Another major thing that often delays projects is the client not having all of the content and copy ready for the website. This, along with scope creep, is probably the biggest factor that gets projects delayed. To help with this, I always provide my clients with a content worksheet at the start of the design phase. That way they have several weeks to get me all the content we're going to need for the website. You can think of things like team bios, blog posts, basically all the content that's going to populate the future CMS. The other major thing I've noticed delaying projects often was the copywriting. When I was first starting out, like many other designers and developers, I was having the client write all the copy. But over time, I found it's just better to bill and write the copy yourself. And this way, the client doesn't need to worry about it. They can have you on hand as long as you're a good copywriter. This is just much easier for them. And you also essentially secure the project timeline by offering copywriting services. So that's why I now offer copywriting standard as part of all my website projects. Now, some things that often will delay the project are the client response time, so they take too long to get back to you with feedback, or on the developer designer end where you promise something's due one day and then it takes you an extra week. I always like to set timelines and expectations like this, so this way we're actually able to stay on track with the timeline. So it's just very important whenever you're going to send over designs ready for review, you request feedback within 2 to 3 business days. This way you can keep making progress. Another thing that slows projects down is often poor project management. That's why I use Basecamp. I have an entire templated dashboard for every single website project, so it just takes one click. All the tasks we need to run the entire project from start to finish are automatically added. This makes things much easier and faster, especially when you're a solo entrepreneur like myself. It removes so much mental overhead. Everything is well documented in an SOP-like checklist. All right, and then the last thing I want to mention here is that sometimes the scope of work, whether you're hiring an individual or an entire team, an agency to build out the website, is simply going to be too large to get the website designed and developed in under 3 months. In that case, I always tell my clients, for this initial website build, the phase 1 build, if you will, let's only have the essential core pages and features we need to achieve the goals of this project. And then everything else, all those extra nice bells and whistles, while yes, they would be nice to have, let's do that later in a phase 2 of the website build, and then we can handle that in another 2 to 3 month sprint. So I think it's important to have the wherewithal to take a longer term view and know that you're always adding new pages, features, and functionality to the website. Sometimes it's best just to really launch a V1 version of the website. This could be anywhere between 1 to 5 pages, quite honestly. Doesn't need to be this huge, massive thing. And then you can always add on more pages after the fact. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video on the website project timeline. This is exactly how I go about managing my website project timelines. The goal is always to get it done within 3 months, and then how I handle each different phase of the website project I have detailed in this video. So hopefully you found it helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and make sure to like and subscribe to the video, maybe even share it with a colleague if you think they can get some value out of it. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.